चक्षुरुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति शापदन्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं शक्रजातं सहुगणो रघुनाथार्नितं तं सजीवम् अद्वैतं सावधूतं प्रियजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादं गण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यः वैष्णवेभ्यः नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पुंगुलंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं। श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिचारु स्वामिनिति नामिने। स्निग्धचेतोषुप्रणेतो वाग्मीनां शिरसाप्लुतं प्रभुपादगतो प्राणो भक्तिचरूपदम्। So we are continuously reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we are in second chapter, Adi Lila. Today we're starting with sloka 4. Am I right, Rachana Mata?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. তৃতীয় শ্লোকের অর্থ করি বিবরণ, বস্তু নির্দেশ রূপ মঙ্গলাচরণ। Translation: let me describe the meanings of the third verse, the first 14. It is an auspicious vibration that describes the absolute truth. So now we'll have that verse. Which one is giving the descriptions of Vastu Nirdesh, verse 5. Jadadvaito Brahma Panosha Tadatpashatanubha Ya Atma Antarajami Purushaiti Shoshangsha Vibhava Sharo Ishwariyaha Purnam Jaiha Bhagavan Ithashayam Ayam Na Chaitanya Krishna Jagate Paro Tatta Paromiham. Anubad in Hindi.
हाँ, अनुवाद। जिसका वर्ण उपनिषदों में निर्विशेष ब्रह्म के रूप में हुआ है, वो उनके शरीर का तेज मात्र है और परमात्मा के रूप में जाने वाले भगवान उनके स्थानीय पूर्ण अंश है। भगवान चैतन्य 6 ऐश्वर्यों से पूर्ण स्वयं पूर्ण पुरुषोत्तम भगवान श्री कृष्ण है। वे परम सत्य है और अन्य कोई सत्य न उनसे बड़ा है न उनके समान है।
धन्यवाद। हरे कृष्णा दिव्यानंद प्रभु, हरे कृष्णा राम हनुमान प्रभु।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु, प्लीज एक्सेप्ट माय आल्सो humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Divanand Prabhu. Divanand Prabhu, could you read the purport, first paragraph, please?
Yes, Prabhuji. It's verse number 5, right?
Right.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
The compilers of the Upanishads speak very highly of the impersonal Brahman. The Upanishads, which are considered the most elevated portion of the Vedic literatures, are meant for persons who desire to get free from material association and who therefore approach a bona fide spiritual master for enlightenment. The prefix upa indicates that one must receive knowledge about the absolute truth from a spiritual master. One who has faith in his spiritual master actually receives transcendental instruction and his attachment for material life slackens. He is able to advance on the spiritual path. Knowledge of the transcendental science of free one from the entanglement of existence in the material world, and when thus liberated, one can be elevated to the spiritual kingdom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by advancement in spiritual life.
Thank you, Prabhu. Ram Hanuman Prabhu, could you please read the next paragraph?
Sure, Prabhuji. The beginning of spiritual enlightenment is realization of impersonal Brahman. Such realization is affected by gradual negation of material variegateness. Impersonal Brahman is the absolute truth that one achieves through the rational approach. It is compared to once seeing a hill from a distance and taking it to a smoky cloud. A hill is not a smoky cloud, but it appears to be one from a distance because of our imperfect vision. In imperfect vision, or in imperfect or smoky realization of the absolute truth, spiritual variegatedness is conscious by its absence. This experience is therefore called Advaita Vada, or realization of the oneness of the absolute.
Okay. Where are the books? I think, Prabhu, you can go through another paragraph and then.
Sure, Prabhu, sure. The impersonal glowing effulgence of Brahman consists only of the personal bodily rays of the Supreme Godhead, Sri Krishna. Since Sri Gaur Sundara or Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is identical with the Sri Krishna himself, the Brahman effulgence consists of the rays of his transcendental body. Similarly, the supersoul, which is called the Paramātmā, is the plenary representation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Antaryami, the supersoul is everyone's heart, is the controller of all living entities. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, wherein Lord Krishna says, Sarvasya Chaham Hardi Sanavishta. I'm situated in everyone's heart. The Bhagavad Gita 5.29 also states, Bhoktaram Yajana Tapasam Sarvasya Loka Maheshwaram, indicating that Supreme Lord, acting in his expansion as a super soul, in the proprietor of everything. Similarly, the Brahma Samhita 5.35 states, Anandat Anatarastha Parmanu Chaitan
Jaya Antarastham.
Chayantrastham. The Lord is present everywhere within the heart of every living entity and within each and every atom as well. Thus, by this super soul feature of the Lord is all pervading.
Thank you, Prabhu. Ramchandra Priya Prabhu, if you have a book, if you can read the purport, we are in text 5.
Text 5. Okay.
And we're in purport, second page, 109 page.
Second.
Furthermore, Lord Chaitanya.
Okay. Furthermore, Lord Chaitanya is also the master of all wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation because he is Sri Krishna himself. He is described as Purna or complete. In the feature of Lord Chaitanya, the Lord is an ideal renouncer, just as Sri Ram was an ideal king. Lord Chaitanya accepted the order of sannyas and exemplified exceedingly wonderful principles in his own life. No one can compare to him in the order of sannyas. Although in Kali Yuga, acceptance of the sannyas order is generally forbidden, Lord Chaitanya accepted it because he is complete in renunciation. Others cannot imitate him, but can only follow in his footsteps as far as possible. Those who are unfit for this order of life are strictly forbidden by the injunctions of the Shastras to accept it. Lord Chaitanya, however, is complete in renunciation as well as all other opulences. He is therefore the highest principle of the absolute truth. Prabhu?
More paragraph.
Okay,
We have
sure.
2 paragraphs.
Sure, Prabhu. By an analytical study of the truth of Lord Chaitanya, one will find that he is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. No one is greater than or even equal to him. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.7, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, Matta parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Thus it is therefore confirmed that there is no truth higher than Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya. The impersonal Brahman is the goal of those who cultivate the study of books of transcendental knowledge, and the super soul is the goal of those who perform the yoga practices. One who knows the Supreme Personality of Godhead surpasses realization of both Brahman and Paramātmā, because Bhagavan is the ultimate platform of absolute knowledge.
Thank you. Adibhanand Prabhu, you can read the last paragraph.
Yes, Prabhu. The personality of Godhead is the complete form of Satchit Ananda, full life, knowledge, and bliss. By realization of the Sat portion of the complete whole, unlimited existence, one realizes the impersonal Brahman aspect of the Lord. By realization of the Chit portion of the complete whole, unlimited knowledge, one can realize the localized aspect of the Lord, the Paramātmā. But neither of these partial realizations of the complete whole can help one realize Ananda or complete bliss. Without such realization of Ananda, knowledge of the absolute truth is incomplete. This verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is confirmed by a parallel statement in the Tattva Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami. In the 9th part of the Tattva Sandarbha, it is said that the absolute truth is sometimes approached as impersonal Brahman, which, although spiritual, is only a partial representation of the absolute truth. Narayana, the predominating deity in Vaikuntha, is to be known as an expansion of Sri Krishna, but Sri Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, the object of the transcendental love of all living entities.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So very nicely, Srila Prabhupada gave very nice purport on this verse. So I think it's like, complete clear by Srila Prabhupada how Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami are explaining about this verse. And we, when we just, start on the beginning, this is the verse number 4 on very beginning of first chapter, Adi Lila. I think so. Oh, yeah, number 3. So on the third verse, when he was discussing, the whole conclusion, sir, came over here. Advaita Tattva, or Advaita Gyan, the knowledge of Advaita. This is only we can understood properly when we surrender to a great spiritual master. A perfect spiritual master can lead us, direct us in a perfect way to understood. So what is in Shat, what is in Chit, and what is in missing, where is no happiness. So if you bring the Shat, Chit, and the last was is Ananda together, then you will get the complete truth in front of you. And how Srila Prabhupada is describing here, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Parotatta Paromiha. So that absolute truth is Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu. Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth. And this is, we can only understood when we get shelter to a pure saintly personalities or a Sadguru who coming through the Parampara systems. Because without the Guru Paramparas, we will be confused and will be not going to be understood the method of the bhakti. This is only possible when we surrender to those spiritual masters. By their mercy, we can understood what is the importance about the devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, such as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also has considered the Sharaishwarya Purnam. We know the 6 opulences who have, we can accept him as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also have that 6 opulences with him. Which one in translation, Srila Prabhupads are mentioning. Because Lord Krishna, as you know, Sharaishwarya Purnam, Sri Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Abhinna Roop of Lord Krishna itself. So that's why the Bastu meanings, as we say, the proper part. And we are the parcel of the part. As the full form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we are the, just as like we are in a Anu Shakti, and Lords are the Vibhu Shakti. Because Anus are coming from a Vibhu. And we know in Sheta Upanishads mention, Jayeshang Purushang Divyam Shakshvadatma Prabhu Vamessaram Na Vajanti Vajananti Sthanat Bhrashtat Patantadha. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami quoting this verse. We will find out this verse in Madhya-lila. Whereas he was translating in Bengali as mentioning Chaturvarna Shrami Jodi Krishna Nahi Bhaje Shakarma Korilau Shero Rabe Pori Maje. So first of all, he giving that verse, Joyeshang Purushang Divyam. Joyeshang. Ja means who. Eshang was the particular Divya Purush. Purusham Divyam. The Divya Purush. Who is that Divya Purush? Shakshvad Atma Prabhu Vameswaram was the Param Purushottam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And now we are the part and parcel of that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, as a part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is in our duty? No bhajanti bhajananti. If that part and parcel doesn't worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sthanat bhrashtat patantada, whatever in their level, they'll be fall down from that level and they will go to the adholoka or lower planets. So that's a Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami giving in Bengali verse on this. Chatur Varna Shrami Jodi Krishna Nai Bhaji. He was mentioning Chatur Varna. As we know, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So this is the four Varnas. If these four Varnas, everyone are following perfectly on their Varnas, according to their Varnas, what they need to do, if they follow even particularly as a Brahmin, what the Brahmana's duty? Jajan, Jajan, Pathan, Dana, Patigraha. Right? That's the duty of Brahmana. Jajan, Jajan, Pathan, Jajan. He will worship and he will help to worship others. He will read, he will help to someone read. He will distribute the knowledge, he will accept to donation. So Jajan, Pathan, Dan, Patigraha, all are there. So if the Brahmins are doing everything in perfect way, but he also worshipper, but he worships someone else without being Krishna. Then said even that the Brahmanas are following every step perfectly because he is doing the karma. But doing that perfect karma also, he will not going to go back to Vaikuntha. He will go to the hell. Shakarmo korileu she rou robe puri maje. You have to go to the Raurava. This is very strong, sir, mentioning. Then Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami are explaining why. Why? Because he's mentioning Jagoter Pita Krishna Dena Bhajeba Pitri Drohi Patokir Jorme Jormeta. Jagoter Pita Krishna, who was the father of these planets all over of universe. He is the Krishna. So saying the Jagat is a universe. So the universal father is Krishna, and we are the universal son of Krishna, or daughter of Krishna. We are the children of Lord Krishna. So as the children, the duty of the children to obey the law from the father. And if anyone doesn't follow the law, what the father gave, those kind of children we call Pitridrohi. Means that person does not following he or her fathers or mothers. Then what happened? The son will be not happy at all. Pitridrohi Patokir, Jorme Tap. Not only in this lifetime, the next birth, the next birth, the next birth, he will be suffering. That's why we have to take as granted the Lord's lotus feet. And who can introduce that? A spiritual masters. As we know, without the spiritual masters, it is not possible. What do you think? Ram Hanuman Prabhu?
Yes, without a spiritual master mercy, we cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness to go back to Godhead. Also, same time, while spiritual master is Diksha Guru, same time Siksha Guru also play important role in our spiritual life. At least I've gone through Siksha Guru as well. So that plays a role, very, very important role. The master.
Yeah, 100% sure, Prabhu. Shiksha Guru and also, you know, the Bhatma Pradashaka Guru also work
Yes.
as who introduce us. Yes.
Yeah.
Those all are very, very important. Ramchandra Priya Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Even Rupa Goswami has mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Adav Guru Padashraya. So the first principle that one needs to follow is to surrender into the lotus feet of the spiritual master, and then bhajan kriya and all those other things then to do. So without first surrendering to the lotus feet of spiritual master, you cannot have transcendental knowledge. So there is no hope you can ever understand Krishna. So even Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, yeah, tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So yeah, that is true, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you. Divyanand Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, I think this is a very important point. Like that before we come to Krishna consciousness, I had the understanding, or while coming into Krishna consciousness, I had the understanding, okay, without Guru, spiritual life cannot start. So that's why we need initiation. So that's the purpose of initiation. And then as we kind of come into Krishna consciousness, get initiated, then get more association of devotees, read more, a little bit more Shastra, then we realize, okay, not your spiritual, but spiritual master is going to take you to the end with this. He's going to hold your hand and take you. Otherwise, you cannot go. There is no way. And that verse that I really like is in Srila Prabhupada quotes that verse many, many times, is the Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir Yatha Deve Tatha Guru. Is just by having that implicit faith in spiritual master and the Lord, all the knowledge comes automatically. Is just amazing. Is the fact that following your spiritual master, following instructions of spiritual master, we can go back to Godhead. So yeah, this is the beautiful part of Krishna consciousness. Is all we have to do is follow. It's difficult, but if we follow, then we can go back.
Prabhu, can I say something, Prabhu?
Yes, please, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu. Just like in a material world also, if we want to go from place A to B, we require GPS. So, Prabhu, do you think that we can go without GPS to the spiritual world? We cannot. So we have to follow GPS, Guru Parampara system. So that is very important. So without Guru Parampara, we cannot go. So GPS.
Whereas you can go without GPS. You can go, but you will get after a whole day you are running with your car, and then you will see you came back in the same place where you start from.
That's true.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada was giving one very nice story on this. It's coming to the GPS. The story called Nongor Tol. Nongor Tol is a Bengali word. Ramchandra Prabhu and Advaita Hari Prabhu knows. Nongor, normally, I don't know what's called in English, you know, when the big ship or big boat, when they travel in sea. So, you know, sometimes because there is no solid land or any place, so then where they can stop their boat and they can take little rest. So they have some nails. In Bengali we call nongol. What call in English? They throw in the water and they grab
anchor.
Anchor?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's an anchor. So that anchor, so what happened, there is the old time, there is not much transportations available. Very less. Some train, buses are quite unpractical on that time. Only as a few private cars, the British cars. So people love to go with a boat, one place to other place. And that time the boats doesn't have engines. The people was to, they oar,
Yeah.
they drive the boat, right? So there is a whole Barjatri, a whole fill-up is a big boat. There's hundreds of Barjatri ke ki bolbo?
Marriage party, Prabhu.
Marriage party? Okay. Yeah. So there's hundreds of marriage party people. They all are going, including the groom. Groom have to go to the wedding, to the bride house. So they all see. So what happened? Maximum time the wedding take place either midnight or either in the very early morning. So people used to leave by the evening, and by the midnight they reach their destinations. So they all sit. Now everyone said, we have to attend the wedding in midnight. So better to everyone have to take a little good rest. Everyone, you sleep. And there is band was going on. They said, quietly, quietly you play and tell those driver they can drive the boat. So now 16 driver on that boat. And they are driving. And there is no electricity, So in the dark, they're driving and they're thinking boat was going very faster. In the meantime, they can hear the sound from the chicken. At those time, the chicken buck. And they said, oh, this is the Titiya Prahar. This is the Chaturtha Prahar. This is the Pancham Prahar. So then, sit. Is a Brahma Muhurtas now. And how come we didn't reach? We still in the water. So then one old man who wake up early, he said, look like we know this place. This is not, when you go to some other city, it's like, unknowing place. He said, this place is look like, it's not an unknowing place. This is we know. Then in the meantime, it's a very early morning. So Arunodaya Kala was happening. So a little bit of shining was took place. And then he described, he just disclosed that we're in the same place. Our boat even never moved a single inches from there. Where they get in, they're completely sitting there. Everyone is shocked. And the the White House, what going to happen to them? What happened? Why boat doesn't go? And 16 people who was driving, they are completely sweating. They work whole night. They are very painful, their body, but doesn't reach the destination. Then one person said, where is your anchor? Did you pick the anchor? Oh, that we forgot to pick. So anchor was stopping them. They are driving the boat, but boat is in there because anchor is in holding it. So it's mentioning without Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada mentioning, see, without a Guru Parampara, without a direction of Guru, what happened? How much blood you make become a water, you're not going to reach your destination. You need Guru. And also, you need not a Guru only. You need the Shatik Guru, means you need the perfect Gurus. A Guru Parampara. They mentioning those 16 drivers, there are Guru. But those Gurus doesn't know because there are the drivers, they don't know how to drive. Because they drive, because they have to pick the anchor. How come they forgot? Because they are not a Paramparas. That's why they don't know how to reach. If it is the perfect driver, the very first thing the perfect driver will do, pick the anchor and then start. So that's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, we have to be very careful and find out a perfect guru. And he mentioning that in Brahma Madhya Gauriya Sampradaya can provide you a perfect guru who have a direct connecting, a parampara system directly to Lord Krishna. But yeah, very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. Advaita Hari Prabhu.
Oh, Hare Krishna. So multiple points. The one point is about the Shat Aishwarya. So wealth, renunciation, etc., etc. So in Krishna, we find that he has everything, especially, the wealth, strength, beauty, renunciation, and so on and so forth. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also we find all five of them. I have to ask the question about the wealth. So he has renunciation, he has fame, he has strength, he has beauty. What about the wealth? He was a sannyasi basically. So obviously as a sannyasi, you are actually being served by so many people, so you actually have the wealth of those people also to a certain degree. But how exactly you can understand that? The wealth part.
Ramchandra Prabhu, give answer.
Like Lord doesn't need to display all his six opulences whenever he is performing any pastime. So he can, some of are prominent at that time when, like in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lila, we see his sannyas is the prominent opulence that is shown. So it is when Lord Krishna comes, he shows all fully, but when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he has certain mission to I can answer further than probably Munaram Prabhu can say more than that.
That's good. Ram Hanuman Prabhu, anything adding?
No, Prabhu. I think Ramchandra Priya Prabhu did cover, but those opulences are full only in Supreme Personality of Godhead, which has all powerful, all beautiful, all renounced.
Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had all of them fully. He was famous across the world. He was fully renounced. He was very, very strong. He was supremely beautiful. He had all those opulences, except for sannyasi, because sannyasi, he does not have that much of money. But obviously we call sannyasis as Maharaj because they're also wealthy to a certain, in some other aspects, maybe they are wealthy in terms of knowledge. So knowledge is also a separate opulence. So I'm not able to understand that aspect.
Okay. So as Ramchandra Priya Prabhu's mentioned, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he doesn't show up his all opulences after sannyas. He show up his opulences before sannyas also. So if you see the wealthy, yes, he is the wealthy one. How? One wealth you can show to the people. Another wealth, you don't have to show to the people, but people could recognize you that you are the wealthy. In a very small example we can give, when Jagannath Mishra, he left his body, and Mahaprabhu every day, not every day, whenever Mahaprabhu's mother said, today we don't have any money for shopping. Did you remember what Mahaprabhu used to give his mother hand? Advaita Hari Prabhu, do you know?
What was the question again? When there was
I said, when Jagannath Mishra left from this material world, after some time later, sometimes Shachimata asked to Nimai that, you are not doing any work. How this family will run? So I don't have nothing to go for shopping. So Mahaprabhu gives something to Shachimata's hand. And what is that?
Books.
Books. Okay. Divanand Prabhu?
No idea, Prabhu.
No idea? Okay. I think Ramchandra Prabhu, Ramchandra Priya and Ramanuman Prabhu knows. So Rachana Mataji.
Bananas.
Bananas. Okay. That's good. Nice. Ramchandra Priya Prabhu.
Prabhu, gold coins.
Gold coins. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to give a gold to Shachimata's hand. Now Shachimata is scared. Where he got this such a beautiful gold? Is it he's stealing? So Shachimata, she didn't go to market directly with that gold. Very first thing she do, she go to neighbors, every single houses, and said, hey, come. Is it your gold? You lost it somewhere? Every single houses. When the whole village is done, then she sent that gold with Ishan Thakur to next village. Where's the neighbor village? You go and find out, is there anyone lost that gold from their house? When it is came back by Ishan Thakur after 4 or 5 village, they said, no one doesn't lost it, and no one even see this kind of gold in their lifetime. Then Shachimata took that gold and give to Ishan, said, okay, you take this and give it and bring the sabjis. Whenever she need, Mahaprabhu gave a piece of gold. Now Shachimata thinking, where he getting that gold from? So, as is Ramchandra Priyapu's mentioned, the many things he don't have to disclose to in front of everyone. The part of the wealth he show up through his mother. So that's why he have the best, means of all the wealthy he have.
Very good. Such a nice example. We did not know about this story. This is
This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very nice. We will go through.
So sometimes, outside of Gaudiya, the acceptance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Lord is a little bit less. And for whatever reason, basically, I'm going to say, we have to probably present our knowledge about his Sharaisharjya a little bit more prominently, probably. So this is one thing. And another thing is about Guru Parampara. So sometimes we think it is a little bit mystical, in the sense that, okay, we take shelter of Guru and that's it, we are done. We are we are connected with Krishna, and probably we'll go back to Godhead without any problem. But it is not mystical. It is actually very, very very evident that you need to do a lot of stuff for your Guru in order to go back to Godhead. To strengthen that connection, you have to work very, very vigorously to make sure that your Guru is satisfied with you all the time, and there is no such mystery. I must say, obviously there is a mystical aspect of it, but it is not really mystical. Sometimes people just think that it is mystical. Guru is going to give your salvation without any effort on your part. So that is not the case. I just wanted to mention.
As mentioned in the Shastra, Dikkha kale shishya kore atma samarpan, shei kale guru tare kore shanmohan. Is mentioning Dikkha kale shishya kore atma samarpan. When you are getting initiation, you are ultimately not surrendering. You are completely surrendering. Completely. Atma samarpan. Completely surrendering to your spiritual master. Now, on that time, Shan Mohan, that time he accepts you. as not his servant. He accepts you as his one personalities and one responsibilities to take you back to Godhead. Now you are not anymore the Sas and Sas person. That's why we got our second birth name. Why we get that name? Because we get that name to remember that you are not anymore such and such. You are the Dash or you are the Dashi. Means you are the servant from now onwards. So behave as a servant, not as a boss. As mentioned, that when you're driving a blind person, what blind person do? Blind person who have the eyes and completely that he will cross me. The river, ponds, or broken road, he will take care of me, everything. Or you sitting in the train will not go according to your mind. Train will go according to the driver. Our driver are driving. So now, when you go to the Guru, your behavior will be like a servant, and by that behavior, Guru will drive you to the Krishna. And if we forget, no, why are we going to be a servant? We are the boss. Then Guru automatically will reject you, and you are not anymore as called the disciple. So yeah, this is a very good point. Only the initiation will not going to be give you to take, go back to Krishna. You have to behave as a servant. Am I right, Ramanujan Prabhu?
Absolutely, Prabhuji. Very powerful.
Thank you, Prabhu. Is it right, Advaita Hari Prabhu? What do you think?
Absolutely. In fact, we should actually discount the mystical part of it completely, because sometimes what happens is we take it a little bit granted and we say that, okay, Guru will give us the Kripa Shakti. By his Kripa Shakti, we'll get the mercy and go back to Godhead. I think sometimes we take it for granted, and it makes our relationship a little bit less effective. I think we should not even consider that Guru is going to play some mystery in front of our eyes, and then we'll all go back to Godhead. I think that is not what it is even supported in our shastras. It is not even supported in our shastras. In general, when we read about Guru and Shishya, we saw that there is a completely different kind of relationship which is not based upon mystery.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, so we'll go to our next verse.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I want to add something here.
Please.
Yeah, so truly speaking, wealth is not directly related to money. I have read wealth, our shastras give importance to health. Health is a wealth. Our shastra give importance to good qualities as wealth. And I always remember Mirabai's bhajan that she said, "Payoji maine Ram Ratan Dhan payo." So Mahaprabhu, Dhan was Bhagwan's name. So Bhagwan name is the greatest Dhan. It's the greatest wealth. That bhajan is so beautiful of Mirabai. She praises her Guru. Oh Guru, you gave me the greatest wealth in the world, Ram Ratan, Dhan, the name of God. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was carrying that.
Yep, you can say that way also. But over here, they're talking about, because that's the name. As the devotee, that's the wealth. For the Brahmas, that's the wealth. And he is the person from whom the wealth comes from. So how he show up his wealth? So Mahaprabhu, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that he brought the wealth for us. As we know, Brahmaro dullabho prem shabakare jache. What even the Brahma couldn't achieve that wealth, Nityananda Prabhu distributing that wealth to the everyone. This is very wealthy for us. A Mahaprabhu show up his wealth. But that's also a good point. Thank you, Mother. Thank you. Okay, so let's go to the next verse. Maybe Ramchandra Prabhu could read verse number 6.
Sure, Prabhu. Brahmatma Bhagavan Anuvad 3 Ango Prabha Amso Swarup 3 Vidya Chinna.
Thank you. Translation, Ram Hanuman Prabhu, please.
Translation: Impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramātmā, and the personality of Godhead are three subjects. And the glowing effulgence, the partial manifestation, and the original form are their three respective predicates.
So now this Brahma, Atma, Bhagavan, Angoprabha, Amsa, Sharup. So this three is Anubad and 3 is Vidheya as a predicted. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami will be giving the descriptions of details. So we're not getting the details here. So let's go to the next verse and getting details from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami directly. Divanand Prabhu, could you read this verse 7?
Okay, Prabhu, I can try.
Please.
अनुवाद आगे पाछे विद्या स्थापना से अर्थ काही सुना शास्त्र विवरणा.
Thank you. Very nice, Prabhu. Okay. Translation in Hindi we'll see. Rachna Mata.
विधेय सदैव उद्देश्य के बाद आता है। अब मैं इस श्लोक का अर्थ शास्त्रों के अनुसार बतलाऊंगा।
So let's see what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami giving the descriptions about Anubad, because Anubad come first and Vidya come later. So let's see what is that. Swayam Bhagavana Krishna Vishnu Paratattva Purno Gyan Purnanando Paramo Mahatya. Swayam Bhagavana Krishna Vishnu Paratattva Purno Gyan Purnananda Paramo Mahatya. Translation, Ramchandra Priya Prabhu, please.
Yes, Prabhu. Krishna, the original form of the personality of Godhead, is the Samambonam of the all-pervading Vishnu. He is all perfect knowledge and all perfect bliss. He is the supreme transcendence.
Now, who is this supreme transcendence? That is mentioning. Nanda Shuta boli jare Bhagavate gai Say Krishna avatinno Chaitanya Gosai. He whom Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam described as the son of Nanda Mahārāja has descended to earth as Lord Caitanya. Purport. Ramchandra Priya Prabhu, read the first paragraph.
Sure, Prabhu. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Maharaj ki jai.
Yay.
According to the rules of rhetorical arrangement for efficient composition in literature, a subject should be mentioned before its predicate. The Vedic literature frequently mentions Brahman, Paramātmā, and Bhagavan, and therefore these three terms are widely known as the subjects of transcendental understanding. But it is not a is approached as the impersonal Brahman is the effulgence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental body. nor it is widely known that the Supersoul or Paramātmā is only a partial representation of Lord Caitanya, who is identical with Bhagavan himself. Therefore, the descriptions of Brahman as the effulgence of Lord Caitanya, the Paramātmā as his partial representation, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, as identical with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be verified by evidence from literatures.
Thank you. Ram Hanuman.
The author wants to establish first that the essence of the Vedas is the Vishnu Tattva, the absolute truth. Vishnu, the all-pervading Godhead. The Vishnu Tattvas has different categories, of which the highest is Lord Krishna, the ultimate Vishnu Tattva, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita and throughout the Vedic literature. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is described as Nanda Sutta, the son of King Nanda. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says that Nanda Sutta has again appeared as Lord Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he bases his statement on his understanding that Vedic literature concludes there is no difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This the author will prove. If it is thus proved that Krishna is the origin of and that there is no difference between Sri Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it will not be difficult to understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also same origin of all tattvas, the same absolute truth as he is revealed to the students of different realization is called Brahman, Paramātmā, and Bhagavan. Hare Krishna.
Yay. So we got, I think Prabhupada gave us complete details. As Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentioned, that he's going to be giving descriptions about Anubad and then Vidheya. And Anubad, as we got, Anubad is a subject. And Vidheya is predicted. The subject always come first, predicted always come last. So on the subject matter in this verse, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who giving the details of the subject is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna is Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself.
Quick question, Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
2.7, Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying, Anubad age, pache vidheya sthapan. So why Anubad? Why not Bostu age, pache vidheya sthapan? Subject is Bostu, right? Anubad is translation, right? Or we have to understand Anubad means subject. How it is?
We know the Anubad means the translation, but Anubad is a Sanskrit words have a many meanings.
Oh,
On this matter, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswamis are mentioning this Anubad meanings as a subject matter.
oh, okay.
And the subject is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Now I got it, yes.
Yeah. You can see even Prabhupada also give the translation. Anubad. Translation means the subject.
Yeah.
Many places you will see that's the things that how different from Prabhupada books and other books. In many places, where is are mentioning is like a Bhagavan. Prabhupada gave the translation Bhagavan meanings Krishna, bracket, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bracket. So bring the particular meanings for us. Today we are just talking with one of our new devotee who was just saying, before he came to read Srila Prabhupada books, he was a pharmacist. He's not chemist. He was a chemist, actually, scientist. So he's saying he read many authors' books before he came to ISKCON, followers of Srila Prabhupada. He read books from, he was saying, from Swami Vivekananda have written 4 books, the Dhyan Yog, Karma Yog, Dhyan Yog, Bhakti Yog. These 4 books are very famous. Then Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Dev, he read some Mahanamrata Brahmacharis, and many books. He said, he loved to read. So he said, but I read it, but I feel something's missing there. He said, I didn't feel satisfied. Reading that, I'm feeling there is something missing. Later on, when he came to the Prabhupada's books, he said, yes, now I got it. What is missing there? He said, there is talking about bhakti, but how you can achieve the bhakti is not in there. It's changing the topic. But Srila Prabhupada bring is our mool direction to achieve the bhakti. And how we can get the bhakti? Surrender Lord's lotus feet. And who is Lord? Lord is Krishna. They're saying, yeah, Prabhupada mentioned is very nicely. There is a personalities, you decorate it very nicely with all ornaments, everything. And from far away, you can see that person is like very nice. But when you go to very close, you will see, even this kind of, whole body decorated very nicely. But one thing is missing on that body. That's why that whole decorations are becoming blind. What is missing? The missing is soul. That body doesn't have any soul. It's a death body. As like a dead body, you decorate in a many way. Dead body will not going to be shine up because the soul is not present on that body. The similar way, in a devotion, as varieties way you try. If Krishna is not there, that is called nirartha. There is no meanings. As like without soul, the body. The similar way that when we read Srila Prabhupada books, Prabhupada gave us everything with his books. We know some word meanings, but when you go to reading Prabhupada books and seeing the translation, how Prabhupada giving word meanings, then you will see the Prabhupada changed the meanings. Many places, when Srila Prabhupada was here, some scholar, they are blaming to Srila Prabhupada that you change the translation of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada said, yes, I did. They said, why? Is it because you guys take out? You guys take out that word and you guys thrown. I picked that out back and put it back. And that's why my Gita's name is not a Bhagavad Gita. That's why my Bhagavad Gita's name is what you guys thrown. I picked them up and I placed them in a books. And that's why I put books in as it is. I didn't thrown up anything. You guys thrown up Krishna from Bhagavad Gita. Who's speaking? You guys thrown up his name. I bring that name and I put it back in my books. Because Krishna is the main person in Bhagavad Gita. That's why it is in as it is. So it's true, because many times our books got, change it by so-called scholar. And they make whatever they feel this is not a comfortable for him. He changed that word and make him, make his own comfortable way he wrote it. But Srila Prabhupada didn't do that. He bring back the original. When Srila Prabhupada came to Mumbai, that time is Mumbai, now Bombay. I think it's 1907. Ramchandra Prabhu or Ramanuman Prabhu. You might know when Prabhupada did the very first convention in Mumbai, when they have almost 10,000 people came to hear the lecture, and they have a big gallon, which one is, they make as a landmark. Do you remember which year it is?
I think 1970.
No, Prabhu, I don't remember.
73, I think.
Something is 72 or 73.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Somewhere. I know that because Prabhupada established in 66, established here in ISKCON. Then Prabhupada by land in Mayapur, meaning Prabhupada first tried to merge with Gaudiya Math. He went there, but Gaudiya Math doesn't accept him. Said no, because you are preaching to the masses. You make your own ashram. Then Prabhupada buy with 400 rupees, and he buy the land. That is the Bhajan Kutir in Mayapur. It is in 1968. And then he buy 2 years, the preaching was going on that small piece of land. 1970, they buy little big land and they start building Lotus building. In 1972, the Lotus building almost is working, is going very good. So just after that, in Mumbai, so 72, 73 in between. So then Prabhupada was giving lecture. So that time, after finishing his lecture, he was introducing the 4 rules, regulations, and principles. If anyone want to get initiation from ISKCON, one members came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, you know what? These 4 rules, regulations, principles, you cut down little list. Instead of 4, come back with a 2. And take away from 2. If you give only 2 conditions, you see this whole crowd, all will be becoming your follower or your disciple. Prabhupada then mentioned in one Bengali Prabhupada. He mentioned, Dushtu ere theke shunno goal onek bhalo. Translation, Advaita Hari Prabhu.
Yeah, it is better to have a empty cowshed instead of having even a single mischievous cow. It is a literal translation. Basically, it is better understood in a way that it is better to not have a disciple who is bad. It is better to not have any single disciple who are bad. Basically, to have just one. Of bad disciples, it doesn't really matter. Only one good disciple matters a lot.
Prabhu, can you please repeat the words you said?
Dushtu ere. Dushtu means the very bad.
Very bad, yeah.
Ere means bull. Ere means the bull, not a cow. Okay, bull.
Bull, yeah.
So the very bad bull, who hit people, kill people. Instead of have that bad bull, your goshala should stay empty. You will feel happy. So he mean, if no one come as my disciple, I'm happy. But I don't need even a one disciple with that kind of disturbance. So the 4 rules, regulations are coming from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and whoever follow these 4 rules, regulations, and principles, only they can come to ISKCON to get initiation. So Prabhupada, that's the very first time, so many people, the Prabhupada give that. So that's the thing, sir. The anubads have the different form of meanings. Advaita Hari Prabhu, this is actually not for by you ask the questions. We thought this is some subject matter. We can just disclose some word. I think you don't mind.
No, that's fine. I think eventually translation actually gives a description of the subject. So if not directly, it is indirectly. Translation means description and subject. So from that perspective, I think it is good. I mean, Prabhupada wanted to give the direct meaning of what is meant in this particular context. So I think he was it is correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu, for giving your darshan. Advaita Hari Prabhu.
Advaita Hari Prabhu now in Babaji position. So that's why he always want to stay backside of the light.
So my wife doesn't allow me to go outside to cut my hair or anything of the sort. So I'm just, maintaining where I am at this point in time.
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Mata.
Can I read one line? मैं तो हिंदी में पढ़ रही हूँ ना.
हाँ, please.
तो हिंदी में क्या लिखा है? हिंदी में लिखा है कि साहित्य में अच्छी रचना के अलंकारिक सिद्धांतों के अनुसार विधेय, ध्येय मीन्स ऑब्जेक्ट, वी मीन्स इम्पोर्टेंट ऑब्जेक्ट, अर्थात निर्दिष्ट बात के पूर्व उद्देश्य कर्ता, कर्ता मतलब कर्ता मीन्स डूअर, कर्ता आना चाहिए। यहाँ पर है ना, अनुवाद नहीं दिया, इधर दिया है कि कर्ता पहले आता है और उसके बाद उसका इम्पोर्टेंट फोकस या ऑब्जेक्ट आता है।
Right. Karta is the personality of Godhead. Right.
हाँ, तो यहाँ पर वो कंफ्यूजन नहीं है इधर के अनुवाद।
I know Bengali में भी नहीं है, because I have the Bengali Chaitanya Charitamrita on my phone on PDF file. I was reading there also. So there is not a as a subject, and that's why, you know, when I'm actually reading in this English, I'm having a little bit of difficulties to giving explanations. When I'm reading in Bengali, everything coming to my mind. What is this? What is this? When I'm converting to the English, some places I am not finding any words. What
Yeah.
should I say?
Yeah, so I thought of sharing here.
Yeah. Thank you, Mata.
Hare
So
Krishna, Prabhu.
sometimes the technical aspects are also important. You know, what is subject and what is object. We should go back. So we studied it like in class 4 or 5, you know, a long time back. You know, predicate versus subject. So it is good to get a grounding on that kind of concept. Sorry, go ahead, Debbananda Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu, I was just thinking that is predicate also mean energy? So there are 3 forms, 3 ways to realize God, and there are 3 energies. Like the the way Krishna is representing his energy in the Brahman is the effulgence. It's in the form of effulgence, and then the Paramātmā is a partial manifestation, and then the form.
That which is the next verse of giving that description. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, go to the next verse. We will read the next verse. Prakasha visheshate ho dhare tinnam Brahma Paramātmā ara Swayam Bhagavan. So on this translation, in Bengali, I will read the Bengali, we will hear the Hindi, we will hear the English. Bengali saying, তার বিভিন্ন প্রকাশ অনুসারে, we have to understand, তার বিভিন্ন প্রকাশ অনুসারে তিনি Brahma, we have to understand this is not a Brahma. Okay, Brahma and Brahma are the different. So Brahma, Paramātmā ও ভগবান এই 3 নামে পরিচিত হন। In the translation.
जी प्रभु जी, अनुवाद, अपने विभिन्न प्राकट्यों के दृष्टि से वे 3 पहलुओं में विख्यात है, जो निर्विशेष ब्रह्म, स्थानीय परमात्मा तथा आदि भगवान कहलाते हैं।
धन्यवाद। राम हनुमान प्रभु, English.
Purport by
No,
Srila
English
Prabhupada.
translation, Prabhu. First we have to hear the English translation.
Okay. In terms of his various manifestations, he is known in 3 features, called the impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramātmā, personality of Godhead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Purport, Prabhu. First paragraph.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained the word Bhagwan in his Bhagavad Sundarbha. The personality of Godhead, being full of all conceivable and inconceivable potencies, is the absolute supreme whole. Impersonal Brahman is a partial manifestation of the absolute truth in the sense of its complete potencies. The first syllable of the word Bhagwan is Bha, which means sustainer and the protector. The next letter Ga. Ga means leader, pusher, and creator. Va means dwelling. All the living beings dwell in the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord dwells within the heart of every living being. Combining all these concepts, the word Bhagwan carries the import of inconceivable potency in the knowledge, energy, strength, opulence, power, and influence, devoid of all varieties of inferiority. Without such inconceivable potencies, one cannot fully sustain or protect. Our modern civilization is sustained by scientific arrangements devised by many great scientific brains. We can just imagine, therefore, the gigantic brain whose arrangements sustain the gravity of the unlimited number of planets and satellites, and who creates the unlimited space in which they float. If one considers the intelligence needed to orbit man-made satellites, one cannot be fooled into thinking that there is not a gigantic intelligence responsible for arrangements of various planetary systems. There is no reason to believe that all the gigantic planets float in a space without the superior arrangement of a superior intelligence. This subject is clearly dealt with in the Bhagavad Gita 15:20, where the personality of Godhead says, I enter into each planet, and by my energy, they stay in orbit. Were the planets not held in the grip of the personality of Godhead, they would all scatter like a dust in the air. Modern scientists can only impractically explain this inconceivable strength of the supreme of the personality of Godhead.
Jai. Divanand Prabhu.
Tenses of the syllables Bha, Ga, and Va apply in terms of many different meanings. Through his different potent agents, the Lord protects and sustains everything. But he himself personally protects and sustains only his devotees. Just as a king personally sustains and protects his own children, while entrusting the protection and sustenance of the state to various administrative agents. The Lord is the leader of his devotees, as we will learn from Bhagavad Gita, instructs his loving devotees how to make certain progress on the path of devotion and thus surely approach the kingdom of God. The Lord is also the recipient of all the adoration offered by his devotees, for whom he is the objective and the goal. For his devotees, the Lord creates a favorable condition for developing a sense of transcendental love of Godhead. Sometimes he does this by taking away a devotee's material attachments by force and baffling all his material protective agents. For thus the devotee must completely depend on the Lord's protection. In this way, the Lord proves himself the leader of his devotees.
Thank you. Ramchandra Priya Prabhu.
Yes, sure, Prabhu. The Lord is not directly attached to the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world, for he is eternally busy in the enjoyment of transcendental bliss with paraphernalia composed of his internal potencies. Yet, as the initiator of the material energy as well as the marginal potencies, the living beings, he expands himself as the Purusha avatars, who are invested with potencies similar to his. The Purusha avatars are also in the category of Bhagavad Tattva because each and every one of them is identical with the original form of the personality of Godhead. The living entities are his infinitesimal particles and are qualitatively one with him. They are sent into this material world for material enjoyment, to fulfill their desires to be independent individuals, but still they are subject to the supreme will of the Lord. The Lord deputes himself in the state of super soul to supervise the arrangements of such material enjoyment. The example of a temporary fair is quite appropriate in this connection. If the citizens of a state assemble in a fair to enjoy for a short period, the government deputes a special officer to supervise it. Such an officer is invested with all governmental power, and therefore he is identical with the government. When the fair is over, there is no need for such an officer and he returns home. The Paramātmā is compared to such an officer. The living beings are not all in all. They are undoubtedly parts of the Supreme Lord and are qualitatively one with him, yet they are subject to his control. Thus, they are never equal to the Lord or one with him. The Lord who associates with the living being is the Paramātmā or Supreme Living Being. No one therefore should view the tiny living beings and Supreme Living Being to be on an equal level. The all-pervading truth that exists eternally during the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the material world, and in which the living beings rest in trance, is called the impersonal Brahman.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada gave a very nice, I think, there is nothing could be a clear message above than this, right? As giving the Brahma, Paramātmā, and Bhagavan. And what a beautiful, the Srila Prabhupada gave the description of Bhagavan, Bhagava, right? Bhagavana. So these Bhagavan descriptions, as we are getting the details, so then the details come on the six Osharyas. Ultimately, who have that six opulence is the Bhagavan. So the time being when the Bhagavan take the name as a Brahma, when Bhagavan take the name as a Paramātmā, and when Bhagavan take name as a Sayam. That descriptions we already got over here by Srila Prabhupada. And this is, I think, is like a very easily we could, understood that how the Brahma Jati, its work, how the Paramatma's work, how the Swayam Bhagavan work. As Srila Prabhupada giving this, nicely on descriptions about a government officers. This is, I think, is like a very, very easy. Whereas Srila Prabhupada are mentioning that the citizen of the state assemble in fair to enjoy for a short period. The government dispute the special officer to supervise it. Such as officer is invested with all governmental power, and therefore he is identical with the government. So how Srila Prabhupada are giving that example? So very nicely we can just compare that how in this material world, how we can identify as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Long before there is a one, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Swami Maharaj, who used to do the youth convention. Might be the old devotees knows about His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Was the very first a disciple, proper disciple, group of disciple. Tamal Krishna Maharaj is the one of them. Group of first disciple group. So on that youth convention, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj, who actually make a big stage and keep a lot of pictures, Kali picture, Durga picture, Ganesha picture, Lord Shiva pictures, all the demigods, all other sampradayas, means it's not only that Gauriyas only, other expected gods, or anything. So everyone is there. So he was asking to those youth student that on your thought or on your judge, who could be the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So over there is no philosophy. They have to tell based on the picture. So now what happened? On base of the picture, many students have a different their own thought. Some saying, oh, Shiva is the Bhagavan. Yeah, he have a Trishul, Tridand. The Tridand, he can kill anyone. Someone is saying, no. Durga is Bhagavan because she have a 10 hands. And she have a 10 weapon. She can kill 10 times more than Shiva. So that's just like many people are giving their own thought. Then one student, he said, I think no one is on this picture, but only one picture is there. In my concern, he is Bhagavan. And that picture was a Krishna Balaram. The picture was a Krishna Balaram. And you see in Krishna Balaram, Balaram put his hand on Krishna's shoulder. Right? Balaram putting his hand in Krishna's shoulder, so that picture was there. So now Maharaj was asking him, why you think he's Bhagavan? He don't have nothing. He don't have any weapon. If somebody attack, how he will protect? How he will protect? Only he have one thing, he have a flute. Flute can protect. So let me get some guessing from our group. What do you think? What that student can give an answer? Not a philosophical way. Not a philosophical way. In a very normal way, the student giving answer. Advaita Hari Prabhu, what do you think? Why that student said Krishna is Bhagavan? What he said when he saw?
I do not know specifically, but I think he says Krishna is not doing anything just other than just enjoying. He is not doing any work. Brahma is doing the Shiva is doing work of destruction. Durga is doing the work of some killing of some asuras and so on and so forth. So everybody is doing some work, but only Krishna is not doing any work. So maybe that is one answer that he could have given.
Okay, great. Rachana Mata?
I like what Prabhuji said. I really don't know, Prabhuji. I don't know. Maybe they look cute together. They look happy. So I don't know.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Divanand Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, I can think of one thing, that maybe all the other pictures were meditating on someone, but only Krishna and Balaram, like, and to some extent what Prabhuji said also, like they are just enjoying. They're not meditating on anyone. All the rest of them are always like Brahma is meditating, or the other demigods are meditating. And so they are the only one not meditating on anyone, and they're just enjoying.
Ramchandra Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, I agree with what Advaita Acharya Prabhu said. I'll give with an example, Prabhu, practical example. Like in the material world, we see there are many corporate companies, very big companies. You won't see the chairman of that company directly involved in the activities of the company. What he will be doing is either playing on the golf course or taking his dog on the sea beach or something like that. So the supreme person, like in a corporate company, he's not doing any particular work or something like that, direct activity, day-to-day activities of the company. So similarly, like Lord Krishna is enjoying, he is not busy. And even this thing came up during British rule also. There was once a court case in British time when there was rule of British in India. So there these people, in India, you know, they are so confused with who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some will say Shiva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some will say some goddess is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some will say some person is Supreme Godhead. So like that, they were fighting. And some Vaishnavas were saying Krishna. So they went to the court and they presented the pictures to the judge. So the judge was the British, and he saw all the pictures, and then he finally decided to give the judgment. He saw all the pictures and he said, he gave the reasons also. He was saying only one picture that I'm seeing, that the person he's playing a flute, so he can be the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he is enjoying. He doesn't have to do anything. Rest everybody is busy with either fighting, killing demons, or meditating on someone, something like that. So even that British judge, he can finalize like who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But people of Indian background, they have so much confusion. They have created so many gods. Sometimes they say Dada Bhagwan, this Bhagwan, Falana Bhagwan. Why are you fighting? You Bhagwan, myself Bhagwan.
Yeah,
So
you are the Bhagwan.
they create so many Bhagwans, so they don't have clear conceptions. But people like this Christianity or Islam or other, they know their God is one. They don't have this many gods like in Indian culture, they say. So that's why Prabhupada used to clarify, those are demigods. Those are gods with small g, not with capital G. So that's what I wanted to say, Prabhu.
Ram Hanuman Prabhu.
Prabhuji, all devotees explained very nicely. Ramchandra Priya Prabhu and Advaita Hari Prabhu. And I was thinking along the same line, and just to and adding something, which is Krishna is playing his flute. And Ramchandra Priya Prabhu touched upon this already. So he's enjoying. And the rest of the pictures actually listening to him. So that way, because everybody is actually listening to him, so he's the Supreme Person. And also, he is very beautiful. Krishna is beautiful, so he is the Supreme Person.
Great. Yes. So Advaita Hari Prabhu and all of you and said perfect word. And a word that student said. The student said, Maharaj asked, why not the Balaram? Because they are standing both together. Said the first he said, he declared that Balaram, he could not be a supreme because he cannot hold even his own weight. He giving his weight also in someone who holding his weight also. So Balaram keeping his hand on the top of the Krishna's shoulder, said, I see, he actually taking help from someone, but that person who holding him, he's just freely smiling and enjoying with playing flute. I said, who can play flute? Who don't have any tension? So only the person play the flutes who really don't have any tension. So he really don't have any tension because he gave all tension to them to work. And instead of getting the tension, he take tension from there and he enjoying. So there is no one else beside Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he don't do any work personally. He appoint everyone. So that's good point that student said. Then Tamal Krishna Maharaj actually, he was eagerly to waiting that answer. So then all other students can get the point. So then then Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked to all the students. So now guys, what do you think? Who is the God? Now everyone said, we got it. Krishna is God. So if Krishna is God, what do you guys have to do? Chanting his name. And he distributed the beads to everyone. That's how Tamal Krishna Maharaj do the youth preaching. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was a youth minister, youth preaching minister. And he also is a guru. And India also, you have so many disciples and all the university student, great scholar. And Maharaj's presentations, everyone, we lost him, but he was there. Abhijitda. other
Yeah,
than
another point regarding other religions, I think it has to be clear. I think we should clear it amongst ourselves also. So if anybody has any additional, please add to that. So in other religions, basically, I think they only have a partial understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm going to say of God Himself, basically. I think, they have the understanding that there is only one God and that's it. But they put God in a very, very, I'll say in a derogatory fashion, basically, from my perspective. They're saying that, okay, God is the creator, He creates everything. In that way, or sometimes they also say that God is judge. He's just waiting for people to come in front of Him so that He can judge those people. Really concepts, because God should not be involved in creating. He's not supposed to do any work. He's not supposed to be involved in judging people, because that is also a work. So as Ramchandra Priya Prabhu said, the God is the chairman, so he is not supposed to do any work. Creation is a work. It's a very heavy lift. Brahma was really I think Brahma has been given a really tough task. Similarly, judging is also a very, very tough task, and actually in our pantheon is Yamaraj who does the judging, basically. So from that perspective, I think they have only a partial understanding what is God, and maybe that is one way to make them understand that, okay, you should broaden your understanding or broaden your concept of God.
right.
Prabhuji, can I add some here?
Yes, Mata.
So there are two things I wanted to see. Is if we want to understand what is religion and what is dharma, dharma is not at all equal to religion. Religion is completely based on faith, like believe in Krishna, believe in Shiva, or believe in Christ, believe in Allah. Whereas dharma is based on the seeker. It is based on internal calling of an individual. So there is so much of freedom in dharma, whereas in religion, they isolate you if you don't believe in something. So this is so I never call, I always say dharma, Sanatan dharma. When they say Hinduism, I said it came later, and because what Prabhupada mentioned, but we are dharmic, we are Sanatani dharma. We are not belong to any religion. Second, unfortunately, English does not have that much of vocabulary which Sanskrit has. So Bhagavan, they don't have anything which is equal to Bhagavan. There is a big time confusion. We have devatas.